Hi
guys.
Husband in the house with me today. Okay, he's in the house with me every day, but today you guys get to hang with him. So today we're talking about how we juggle running our business and homeschooling our kids.
It's a lot of work.
Bud obviously does more of the business. Well, not obviously, but he does more of the business. I do more of the homeschooling, but we both do some of both and support each other in those goals. So today we're going to break down our daily and weekly schedule and how we do all the things. Channel intro. We're back. Okay. If you don't already know me, I'm Sarah, and we have 4 kids between the ages of 8 and 1 and have been homeschooling them since the beginning of time, it feels like. My channel is full of homeschooling tips, so if that interests you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There. Yeah, thanks. And you?
I am Bud. I'm a wedding photographer here in Savannah, Georgia. You know, I jokingly say to everybody that Sarah is my boss, and even though, I'm kind of kidding about that, really is kind of true as well. She does manage a lot of the business side of things. If you've ever emailed me, then you probably actually emailed Sarah. She's in charge of all the client communications and the scheduling. She's a biz whiz when it comes to all that. But it's only fair that I also help with the homeschool side of things. So of course you've seen a lot more of her on this channel with all the homeschool things, but believe it or not, I actually help kind of as well.
Woohoo! Which we appreciate. Very much so. And he also has a YouTube channel. I'll link to that above and in the description box below, all about photography tips, gear reviews, beautiful photos that you've taken at weddings. Good stuff. So go subscribe to his next. Obviously, we know that probably a lot of you have a completely different working schedule and job than what we have going on. So stick around to the end and we'll troubleshoot a few different situations and scenarios and try to help come up with some creative problem solving for you.
So one question we get a lot is, how do we get it all done between running the business and of course homeschooling and everything else we do in between? How do we get it done every day?
And the answer is we don't. Some days we don't.
Some days we don't. You're right.
One tip is using block scheduling. If you haven't heard of that before, there are other videos that can explain it way better than I can, but basically just setting aside certain blocks of time for certain things throughout your day. It sounds pretty simple and like duh, but there was a time that I was trying to multitask because that's supposed to be something that women and moms can do really well. I can't. I'm a terrible multitasker. So we were doing homeschooling and I'm trying to get work done a little bit while they're working on assignments. But then once they were done, I wasn't always done with my stuff. And so it felt like they were interrupting me, which leads me to frustration and raises my stress level. So me trying to get other things done in the midst of school time was actually really bad for us. It did not go well. So I have certain times, school time is just for school. And then I am a lot more pleasant of a teacher when I do it that way. And then later in the day is my work time. And me staying on task actually helps us to get through school so much more efficiently, quicker, so it's better all around. So in the afternoons, my little kids take a nap and the big kids have what we call quiet time. And so that's the time when I get a lot of work done as well. And so the kids know, I've already set the expectation, mommy is unavailable during this chunk of time, which really helps with mommy guilt. They just know this is when mommy has to work and they know when daddy has to work, and that helps a lot. And we also get work done after the kids go to bed at night. So a lot of times we'll still put a TV show on in the background, something we've seen a zillion times, like Parks and Rec or The Office or something. So it still feels like we're relaxing and hanging out, but we're getting some things done at the same time. And then we'll try to shut things down at a reasonable time and just hang out and relax.
So I know not everybody has the same work schedule as Sarah and I. Shooting weddings a lot. I'm usually working on the weekends, and during the week I want to try really hard to not overwork myself or to completely miss my family. So I try to keep to that magic 40-hour week number. Of course, it often goes over. But really that means that I work from Monday through Thursday. I'm in my office, of course, my garage and studio and office space. And I'm trying to work during the day. I still get to pop in for lunch and be involved, but I also have kind of my special office hours. So I can kind of relate to people who have normal 9-to-5 jobs. But of course, I'm usually working on Saturdays as well. So because of all that, Fridays we actually swap. Sarah manages the business. She gets to step out, take a break from the kiddos for a little bit, do a lot of really awesome work for our photography business, and then I jump in and do the homeschooling on Fridays. And it's actually a lot of fun, and I know it's a really good relief for Sarah to have that break with the kids, and it's a good time for me to spend with the kids as well.
It might be my favorite day. Fridays are currently the day that I do work and he does the homeschooling, because that's when the ladies that I'm doing Bible study with in the mornings have chosen that day. But if it's a day that Bud ends up having a wedding, we'll just swap that day for a different day during the week. So we're very much able to change our schedule. Okay, so that's how we manage our week and our days. So let's go ahead and troubleshoot some of the different situations that you might be in.
So say you've got an alternating schedule, kind of like Sarah and I, where one of you is out of the house and the other one's in the house. And well, that might mean that you've got to then alternate that teaching schedule as well. You know, for us, we found out our kids are really good students, better students in the morning than in the evening or in the afternoon. So for us, we prioritize that time. But for your child and for your family, maybe even you as the teacher, that might be a different time. So you might have to figure out a way to help your spouse, help if you're, say your wife is kind of pulling a lot of the heavy load teaching the kids during the day. Maybe you need to help follow up at nighttime, manage some of the homework, or even a couple of the different subjects can move after supper or something like that. Maybe it's the other way. Maybe you as the guy, you're doing most of the work and your wife is out working hard. Well, maybe when she comes back, both of you are going to have to learn to overextend yourself for this brief period of time to make sure that the kids get the education they need. It really is, it's tough. I mean, we're not going to lie and say it's easy and every day's, super Walt Disney World fun, but it's a lot of work, but it's worth it, and it's worth it for our children's sake, it's worth it for our sake, and it really is something that you have to be aware of what your spouse needs, and those breaks, goodness, the breaks that they need as well.
Now, say you work from home, but you have strict hours, like maybe you have certain conference calls you have to be on during the day, things like that, and you're thinking, how can I fit this into the schedule? It may be something where you could work with your kids and then get them set up on some independent work that they can be doing while you're on your conference call. Or maybe they're getting some chores knocked out while you're on your conference call. And so you're just kind of hitting subjects here and there throughout the day as you can get to it. It's probably not the most ideal setup, but doing what you gotta do, right? You might even find that, yes, you do wanna just save some subjects for the evening or even over the weekends, just trying to fit it in where you can. Or maybe the situation is that you have a toddler or a baby and you're thinking, this is gonna be impossible to get anything done while they're awake, which I feel you there. It is really hard. It's very challenging. I have another video that I'll link to above with just some ideas for what to do with the toddler during school time, but it's still crazy and hectic. So if that's something that really seems like it's going to be a huge hurdle, what we used to do actually is school them during those babies and toddlers nap time. So I would wait until the afternoon to get their schoolwork done. Or maybe you just choose to save the most parent-involved subjects for nap time. So you're kind of knocking some out in the morning and some out in the afternoon.
Smart.
So smart.
Really just try to think outside the box. You don't have to keep the same exact schedule as the public school kept. Try to think about how you're going to have to show a lot of flexibility during this time, and I bet your kids can show a lot of flexibility as well. So try new things, maybe give it a week or two, see how it goes, and then maybe change the schedule completely if you have to. It's worth kind of trying new things from time to time.
Yes, trial and error. Might take some trial and error. It definitely feels like we change up our schedule and how we do things like pretty frequently. So. And that's all we have for you today. If you have made it this far in the video, thank you for sticking with us today. Then go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We'd love to get to know you, so please in the comments below, let us know what your work situation is. And if you've already figured out how to deal with this, leave that in the comments below as well so other people can learn from your ideas, and let's all help each other out. Thanks for hanging with me today, babe.
Of course.
Bye.
How we juggle.
Am I that boring? You ready? And he also has a YouTube